like his history doesn't repeat itself, and it doesn't cycle downward. I'm hoping that like if I ever come back here, it's going to be like the Al Gore Inconvenient Truth, like elevator thing that I get on, and just like up there. So we'll see. It's a little bit about me. So Kiva, how many of you guys have been to the site? Okay, so strong familiarity, but just to review kind of what it is, it's like an eBay for microfinance. On this website, microfinance field partners, MFIs, host up client data. These are entrepreneurs typically who are looking for a loan less than $1,200. The average loan on the Kiva website is about $500. And they post up the photo, the business plan. It gets up on the website, and then anyone with an internet connection and a credit card can make a loan in $25 increments. And while you're making a kind of a 0% loan this way, what you're getting back in return is a rich data experience, basically information. And when you get repaid, that's actually information about whether or not things are working or not working as well. So that's the overview of the Kiva model. And then here's kind of our numbers today. So let me back up a bit. We are, I think, well, we're less than four years old, and so far about over 450,000 people have made loans in $25 increments that amount to $68 million to fund 150,000 entrepreneurs in about 50 developing countries. And what's really cool is you can see this thing right here, which is when we started, it was like, crickets and tumbleweed, like no one's coming to our site. And then basically Muhammad Yunus won the Nobel Peace Prize, and it really started ramping. And right now we're raising about $1 million every week on the website, and the repayment rate is 97%. So most of that money is actually coming back, and 65% of it is actually being re-lent. Less than 10% is being pulled out of the system. So there's this compound loan fund that's building, which gets really exciting. And right now, the microfinance institutions around the world that we're working with, it's 115 field partners. Some are big, and some are actually quite small. I wouldn't be surprised if some GES folks here end up starting organizations that one day get funded through Kiva. And it's going at 3 a month. And then our site is getting 40,000 visitors a day, which, for a site that's focused on helping people, it's really hard to get traction. So it's so inspiring for me to actually see people actually caring enough to come to the site. We're 35 employees and more than 500 volunteers. And for every $10, we have this thing called leverage ratio. So for every $1 we spend running Kiva of donor dollars, we've raised $10 on the internet. And we think that over time, this could even be more efficient. So that's some numbers. And in 5 years, there's not a real linear path to this, but I think if we all come together and good things keep happening, I'm hoping to hit about $1 billion in 5 years in $25 loans from the internet community. To put that in perspective, Citibank's portfolio microfinance, their fund was about $100 million. So all of us, I think, could be kind of several times bigger than one of the largest institutions in microfinance. I want to talk about kind of 4 Web 2.0 principles that we apply that might be useful as you guys start your ventures. The first is creating an addictive user experience. And it doesn't, I realize that many of you aren't starting a website, but when I think about the user experience, what's the experience for kind of the person that you exist for, as well as for the donor who is funding your operation, and how do you create an incredibly compelling, simple user experience? I'll talk a little bit about what Kiva does. Second is this notion of radical transparency. Third is the idea of crowdsourcing against your constraints. Most of us here probably have a very, very big idea and very, very little resources. And so how do you actually break those constraints? We'll talk a little bit about what Kiva is doing around crowdsourcing to help break them. And then finally, a bit more sophisticated concept, but it's this idea that if you get something that's working, to try to basically keep score and track all this data so you can build increasing returns on data. And I'll talk a little bit about what Kiva's doing there. So, addictive user experience. To me, when I think of addictive, and it's a weird word to apply in the social space, but I think it's absolutely key. Our biggest enemy, I think, once we start getting traction, is basically apathy. Most people, this room is a room of exceptional people who really care. There's so many people who, are really busy. And to get people engaged, I think you need to create a user experience that's easy and fun. To me, two websites that have done this just brilliantly: Amazon, really, really easy one-click experience, right? And Facebook, I mean, they've nailed fun. 200 million active users now. Apparently 45% of Facebook users log in every single day. It's just an incredible website that they've created. And so what can we learn from this site? Well, with Kiva, this is the Make a Loan page. This is the primary page on the site where the internet community decides whether or not they want to make a loan. In this case, this is Sylvia in Mozambique. She runs a general store. You can see the person that you're lending to, so we really want to make that kind of really apparent. You get basically real business data that will hopefully, it's not about poverty pornography, it's about establishing a relationship based on mutual dignity. You're their investor. Later this year, we're going to launch here in the United States. So hopefully someone, say, from Senegal will be able to invest in someone in Des Moines, Iowa. This is what we aspire to do on our website. Third, very low cost to entry, $25 is the minimum. And finally, you can check out and do something good, the internet community, in less than a couple of minutes. So we think that's really key, to keep it really simple and Fisher Price. In terms of making it fun, we think that one thing that Facebook has really done is they've kind of made rich content change a lot. And so just pointing out our homepage, one of the things that's cool about the Kiva website is when a loan is posted, on average it's $500, and on average it's funded in 1.5 days. So as soon as it's posted, if you're, for example, in Honduras and part of the NGO partner staff, and you post up a profile, it's actually incredible to have that short feedback loop and to see it get funded. So as you think about how you set up your own social venture, think about how you can build in feedback loops that are short and fast and quick, because it's actually quite fun for the staff of these microfinance institutions to post up these profiles and watch them get funded fast. We show kind of transactions that happened recently. Right now on our website, the transactions happen every kind of 18, 20 seconds. And we, with one thing that's cool about Kiva is that we get these real-time unedited updates. So instead of kind of us trying to overly produce any kind of update, we let the field staff write, for example, in their local language in Bahasa Indonesian. And then basically you get an email in the middle of your workday in Bahasa Indonesian, and you can actually go to Google Translator and translate it yourself. And we think that creates a real interaction.